When you get lost in the Lord's Word and truth, you will find your way through life. Recording artist, singer, songwriter, evangelist, and host of the AM Kevin Club, Cindy Shorey has traveled the world reaching the lost with a new understanding of God's promises. Thousands are being saved through his ministry. His wife, Cindy Shorey, the daughter of Mel Tillis, grew up in the spotlight of country legends. Together, Kevin and Cindy share Jesus wherever they go. This is their story. This is today's Nashville. This is faith. Kevin, Cindy, what an honor to sit down with you. You two have an amazing ministry. But first, Cindy,
yes,
you grew up in a famous family. You are the daughter of Mel Tillis. Kevin, you have a powerful ministry here in Nashville. My first question, how in the world did you all meet?
Oh, well, there you go. It's like the two worlds collided in Branson, Missouri.
Branson?
Yes.
Well, you weren't living here in Branson at the time, were you? Or?
She was. She was working for her dad, who had a theater in Branson. Was doing shows in Branson. And the theater, her dad sold the theater, and it became a church, and my brother became the pastor of the church. And I was doing a service for my brother. She was there at the theater, church.
Yeah, well, I was actually there. I was working with the new owners of the building, the Assemblies of God at the time, and felt like I needed to come to one of the services and kind of learn more about the church.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, and so went to service on a Sunday night, and he was singing and speaking, and my good friend who was with me that day, she elbowed me and said, "You need to marry that guy. He's funny and he's good looking."
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, when I'm a single mom, I'm divorced, I'm Baptist, he's Assemblies of God, never been married, evangelist, it'll never happen. And last month we celebrated 20 years. So
20 years, yay!
God worked out the details.
So you were a single mom. Tell me real quick, because I know everybody want to know, what was it like growing up with your famous dad?
Really, he was just daddy. And we knew that, he had an important job because he would send us postcards from wherever he was traveling to. And he would bring home we had a shiny reel-to-reel player. And Daddy would come home from those songwriting sessions and put on the latest reel. And so it wasn't until probably in the 70s when he started being a regular on like Porter Wagner show or Glenn Campbell that we realized that he was somebody that people knew.
Well, how did you go from Branson to Nashville? Did you stay in Branson for a while as a married couple?
Yes. Yeah, so it was really an answered prayer because Dad, I was working and living in North Carolina and had a prayer list that I had really prayed over fervently. And one of the things on the prayer list was that I would get to spend more time with my dad. And a month later, the phone rang and my dad was saying, I'm going to Branson to open a theater. Would you come help me?
Do it like he would say it.
He would say, "Cindy, I'm going to Branson." And it was an answered prayer, as I said. So I went out and ended up staying 29 years there, working with Dad. And then later on, I ran a ministry for single moms with the Hershen family, which they're the owners, operators of Silver Dollar City and partner with Dolly. And so I had some really great experiences there.
So you got married.
We did.
What was going through your mind marrying a single woman with a child and
Yeah, two. She had two children. And I'd never been a father or a husband, and I want to be a good husband and as good a father, of course, but I want to focus on her for sure. And she had already done such a great job. It was too easy for me, for the kids. So yeah, it was an answer to my prayer. You know, I was just thinking how odd this was, or whatever the word is. The very song that I wrote out of being single in my 30s and wanting to be married, because I still believe women make the best wives. So that's what I wanted. So I'm praying, and God gave me on my 35th birthday this song, I really believe. And my friend and I wrote this song together called Speak His Name and You'll Never Be the Same, because God was just saying, all you need is me. Just speak my name and stay with me. I got this. And it's still been one of my most popular songs now today. And I'm singing this song on that Sunday night she came to visit, and the very song that she emailed me, I'd given her my information. I wasn't really thinking of like, ooh, Mel Tillis' daughter, Pam Tillis' sister, you know. She says, I love that song, Speak His Name. And that was just the beginning of our relationship. And then 20 years ago, this past month.
So what happened after that? I mean, you wrote the song, you heard it.
It was a short engagement.
Short engagement was a long getting to know each other. You know, I was already now by this time close to 40 and set in my ways. So, you know, it took a lot of, okay, is she the one? Because she could be the one. We would go, and she used to call it...
it was Shorey Party of 30, because it was always me and Kevin and 20 other people, or, you know, going out after church. And I think God really intended it to be that way. And it, you know, having a failed first marriage, I was very aware of how, you know, going into a new relationship could possibly affect my children. So I just took my time and just really fell in love with the man that he is.
Well, it sounds like you have a heart for single mothers. And
absolutely, yeah.
Is it born out of what you went through?
You know, really, when I had the opportunity to lead that ministry, I felt like I didn't have anything to bring to the table, even though I'd walked that journey. I knew what it was like to sit on a church pew with just my kids, and I see now even more. It's still a passion of mine. I could always spot single moms. They come to church, and you can just tell that they feel very alone. And yeah, it was something definitely born out of that experience, and grateful that I had that opportunity.
So what happened after you all met, you got married?
Well, she had to get used to ministry, the world, and I was kind of getting used to the country music world. That was foreign to me. And but we both dove in head first, and here we go. We, you know, love her family. The Tillises are great folks. We miss Mel so much. And then getting to take her to, not the single evangelist traveling and doing, I was no longer, for some reason, asked to do singles conferences anymore. So, and instead, marriage conferences or you know, just to have her there in my revival meetings around the country. And I haven't gotten her to go overseas with me yet, but she's...
What were you going to say?
Well, you know, it was very different for me because, again, we went to church. We only went to church when my dad was home because, again, my mom felt more comfortable when Dad was in town. So just learning how to go and be at the church services, and it was a completely new experience for me. But I see a lot of similarities between country artists and entertainers and also evangelists because, again,
both worlds,
and being able to get up and tell a story in front of a crowd and keep their attention, and again, get up and make sure that you have your music in order, and it's a process, and so similar to what I saw growing up with my dad, just in a different arena. We always laughed about it. I said, boy, the country music world is a lot like the ministry world.
Yeah, it really is.
World.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk more about that, some of the trials that you've gone through, more about your dad, more about your ministry when we come back.